Two drinks and the fellas. Yo, 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 what's going on? This your boy Ken, aka Mr. On My Grind, making them dollars and changing lives. And you know my partner in crime, as always, he is
What up? What up? This B Mace. We about to get into that.
Real Talk today. All right, and welcome to Two Drinks with the Fellas. I almost messed up the name, bro. Wow. I done had one too many beers already. But anyways, welcome to Two Drinks with the Fellas. We got a very special guest today, my cousin. This is going to be a special episode, kind of linking off of what we talked about last episode. So let me get my poem pilot out so I can get her correct title. So we got the project manager for the Illinois Alliance for Reentry and Justice. This is my cousin, my homegirl, Reverend Doctor. Nah, it's just a joke, but it's my cousin, Avalon. Say what's up, Avalon.
What's going on, fellas? Thank you so much for having me tonight. I appreciate being a part of this project.
Hey, we really appreciate you blessing our show, right, B?
Definitely appreciate you coming through.
So we just got a quick little thing we got to do. Now, you know, us two, we going to have us a sip. What you sipping on tonight, bruh?
Well, I just went ahead and got some more of that wild rabbit.
Hey, guess what I'm sipping on?
What you sipping on, bro?
Hennessy too.
Nice. So we're gonna have some nice vibes. What you sipping on tonight, Avalon?
She got her some water.
I got green tea.
Oh, she got her
fire.
She got the good.
Oh yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's bless this show real quick and have us a toast to a good episode. I already had mine open because I didn't want to. It was a long day today, boy.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Hey, love and respect. Good episode. The first one of the day is always the best one. Yes, sir.
Good episode.
All right. Let's get into this. So, like I said, we're going to have a very special episode. We got my cousin Avalon here on the show, and she's here for a very, very special reason. As we all know, in the Black community, you know, there's a lot of different what's the word I want to say? You know, people have different views on how it is to re-enter society after being locked up. People don't understand what that transition really is. That's why we have my cousin on the show. Now, my cousin was a very prominent businesswoman, you know, and sometimes you kind of got to watch who you trust. And she ended up getting into some stuff which she didn't do. We all know the truth. And she got wrapped up in the middle of just because of her partner. Cuz you want to speak on it?
Yeah. So, you know, I got in business with the wrong person, and she was doing some things that she should not have been doing, including stealing money from me. And it just kind of I got pulled into it because her hand got caught in the cookie jar. But I had upset some white people. I'm just gonna put it out there. And so they were powerful people, and they decided that they were gonna take me down. So they approached her and said, "Hey, we got you, but we don't really want you. If you help us get her, you'll get off." So that's what she did. And in reality, especially as a minister, but I get why she did what she did. She was a single mom. She had a young daughter, and she didn't have anybody that could. If she had ended up being incarcerated, she didn't have anybody to take care of her baby. And so it was either her or me from her perspective. Now, I would not have done that to her. I would have made it so that we both survived the situation, especially knowing what I know. But everybody doesn't have the fortitude to do that, and so she just felt like she had to make a really hard decision, and her decision was to give me up and testify falsely against me in my trial. And she ended up getting probation, and I ended up getting about 5 years.
5 years is a long time missing out on life. And, you know, my little cousins. Like what people don't realize is a stupid decision like that, not on your part, but on her part, and then basically snitching because she wanted to save her own ass. And yeah, her daughter would have had to deal with it too. But at the same time, what about my two baby cousins, your two boys? Yeah, they had their dad, but still, they still missed out with mama. But the Mazel clan held it down with them. You already know.
I already know.
So let's just jump into that though. You were where did they have you? Do you remember?
So I was originally sent to West Virginia, to Whiteville, USA.
That's what it was called.
Well, that's what I'm gonna call it. So I was originally sent to West Virginia, in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere. And I spent a couple years there until 2017, and then I got transferred to Pekin, in Central Illinois. So I spent my last 2.5 years at Pekin, which was good, because it's, in the state, I could get visits. I could, it was just much easier for me being at least in the same state with my family versus being thousands of miles away
Yeah,
from
because we tried to
from
make that
everybody.
trip. I remember that one. We were trying to
And so it
figure
was an
out.
11-hour trip. So I mean,
Hmm.
I didn't get a visit for over a year. So I didn't even see my baby, who was only 9 at the time that I went away. Or was he? Yeah, I think he had just turned 9. I didn't even get to see him for more than a year. So that's really hard, and they do that on purpose. Let me just put it all out there. They do that on purpose, because especially if people like me, like I said, I had angered some Caucasian people who I found out after the fact, were former assistant U.S. attorneys, and that's how I end up getting wrongfully prosecuted. So, part of the whole thing against me, to kind of break me, was to send me as far away as they could, so that they could continue to mete out punishment against me, to teach me a lesson, I'm assuming, for calling them out on racism and discrimination. So, and I'm still gonna do it.
So make a
I'm
long
still gonna.
story. So make a long story short, you pissed off some peoples from the mountains of the Caucasus, and they sent your ass to the mountains of the Caucasus.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
So I mean, again, I'm glad we having this episode because again, this all goes right back to everything that we have been dealing with for hundreds of years. But yeah, it's 2021 and 2020, but guess what? We still dealing with this shit when you talk about George Floyd and Eric Gardner and Trayvon Martin and situations like that. And then we talk about like what we talked about in the last episode. Did you watch the episode? Cuz we talked
I didn't
about
get a chance to watch it yet, but I'm sorry.
we had talked about the Rittenhouse case and all that stuff. And what people don't, and you with your background, I felt that that case was rigged because of his charges. Because I know that certain charges hold a certain value. And if it's not the correct charge, when we put it out in paper, yeah, it's a charge. But when we break it down in court, that's what's going to get you off.
Well, and I'll add to that, because I actually am a lawyer. I don't have a license to practice at this time, but I'm a lawyer as well. And I'll actually expand upon that. The system was set up to get him off.
Exactly.
Like, let's just keep it real. It was designed to do that. So we have a system that is based and rooted in racism, classism, and ableism. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. And so, I mean, it may get it right, but a broke clock right twice a day too. So so it's not going to it was designed to free the Kyle Rittenhouses of the world, and it was designed to incarcerate people that look like us. And that's just the reality of the situation, because there's no other explanation for the disproportionate amount of Black, Indigenous, Latinx, people of color, and poor people in the criminal legal system. You can't explain it away based on anything other than an a system of racism that is part of its roots and its foundation. Which is why I am an abolitionist. I do not believe that the system is legitimate in any way, shape, or form. I strongly believe that Black people will not ever fully get justice out of an unjust system. And so the only way for us to create an environment where our communities are safe, where we are not discriminated against, I think that we need to dismantle the current system and start over.
Definitely. Definitely.
And that starts everywhere. But we're gonna start it right here in the shot.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I know you are, cuzzo. Cause if I'm lying, I'm flying. I tell you right now, from the day my cousin came home, you had your little special jewelry on, and you were still running, getting shit done. I'm talking about, boy, I ain't never seen somebody come home on a transition from that situation to coming back to society and it was about business. Like that made me feel like, man, I'm fucking up. I gotta get on my game, boy.
It's definitely rare.
Yeah, buddy. But so now let's jump into another part of that, because what people don't realize is when you in that cage, it's a lot of mental that literally all they doing is fucking with you. Now, knock on wood, I've never had to spend years in that cage, but I've had my fair share. And we all know that 26 of California ain't no pity party, ain't no play pretty at all. Because 26 of Cali got they got dog cages that they call not the pies, what they call those? Shit, I can't even think of the name now. It's been a minute. I'm glad I ain't been in that bitch. But literally, it's like a dog cage with like 2 metal benches and a hole in the floor to piss in. And then they give you old stale bologna sandwiches. And this is just to wait to go to court.
Right. Where, mind you, you are technically legally innocent. Like correct. At that point, under our Constitution, you are legally innocent, and they are treating you worse than they would treat a dog.
Yeah.
Like if PETA saw those conditions for an animal, they would absolutely be outraged. But we're talking about human beings, but because they look like us, it's kind of okay.
Yeah, a run cage with 40, 50 dudes in it, grown ass men.
Right.
And then the system is even more corrupt because the motherfuckers that work there is just as bad as the motherfuckers in the cage.
Well, and it's so interesting because with the pandemic, if you ask people who have been to prison, or specifically prison, but jails as well, where contraband comes from, right? Like how's the contraband getting into prisons? So
it ain't from all them visits.
So they want to eliminate visits. They want to eat. Now they scanning your mail because they saying that's how all this stuff is coming in. And now they scanning mail. There was no visits during the pandemic, and they had more overdoses in prisons during that time period. So you have to sit back and ask yourself, like, how is this getting in? I can say that
it's coming from little mama that's fucking
it wasn't coming in through visitation, not like that. Nope. So but they don't want to look at their people because then they got to kind of admit some things, and that's something that the system is not willing to admit.
Nope, they got to admit that they got the wrong people in place. They also got to rehire and retrain. And I done been in corporate America for quite some time, and I've also been new hire trainers and recruiters to the point where I've seen Fortune 500 companies that don't even want to spend that extra dollar to properly train just to get people in the position. So trust me, I already know they're starting to treat penitentiaries like it's a Fortune 500 business.
And
But
worse than that, because
yeah,
guards, COs, you only need a high school diploma or a GED. You need no work experience at all to be a CO at a jail or a prison. And I'm not saying that people that you need to have an advanced degree and all that kind of stuff. I'm definitely not an elitist in that way. But what I am saying is that when you're just picking up people off the street and you are not really training them, you're not giving them any training as far as mental health is concerned. You're not giving them any training on just how to be humane to people.
Right.
They get put into that environment, and honestly, the environment promotes it promotes tension and degradation and all of those things. And so even people who come in with the intent of I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna make a difference, right? Like I'm gonna be right and do right by people. They succumb to the what I call evil that persists in that system because it's so pervasive. And after a while, you cannot, like I've seen so many good people that wanted to work in the prison system because they wanted to make a difference, but only lasted like 4 to 6 months because they couldn't take it because they could not be witness to the trauma that is experienced on a day-to-day basis. And I mean, since we're gonna be real and raw on this podcast, women's prisons are even worse than men's in this one way. There is not one single day, not one day, that you are not either a victim of or a witness to sexual assault. Not one day. So if you are not experiencing sexual assault, you are seeing sexual assault every single day. That's not as prevalent in men's prisons. I'm not saying that sexual assault don't happen in men's prisons, but what I'm saying is that the prevalency of it happening every single day doesn't exist in men's prisons. And so there are no safe women's prisons. So I don't care how pretty they make the building, how beautiful the walls are and the courtyard is and all that kind of stuff. Every single day, they will either be sexually assaulted or witness someone being sexually assaulted. And that's the real.
Mm.
And nobody wants to talk about that.
no, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you real that's the realer than real right there. Cause dudes, we hornballs anyway. So, I mean, I know quite a few people because being born and raised on the west side of Chicago, we already, there's quite a few people that we know that were COs that got some illegitimate kids because of their job, you know. But I mean, if I've been there, seen it myself too, in just county, how horrible it could be. So just imagine a group of women with dudes telling them what to do and controlling their every movement. And if you go against what I got to say, now you in the hole, or now you got extra time. I completely understand. It's even worse than being a pimp. It's even worse than being pimped.
Absolutely. And they'll have you, thank God I never went through this, but I know other women who did. Like they had to be the lookout while their friend was being raped by an officer. So not only could they not report it, they actually had to be the lookout because both of them was going to get in trouble if if either one either said no or didn't do what they were supposed to do. So it is really, really bad. And we just really need to think about, like, let's just any system, all of us on this podcast, we all have worked. And if you worked for an employer that constantly got money but didn't produce any results, right? Like nothing, they had nothing that came from it that was positive. Only thing that came out of it was the same stuff. So it left the circumstances the same every time, but we just keep pumping money into it, thinking somehow things are going to be different. We fooling ourselves, and that business would be out of business. Like that's just the reality. They could not exist. Nobody is going to waste that kind of money. And we're talking about, if you think about the prison system and how much like families have to support, and you talk about the total cost of mass incarceration on an annual basis, the Prison Policy Institute estimates it at $1 trillion per year. $1 trillion per year. So if you think about something that costs one industry that costs $1 trillion per year, yet our communities aren't safer. People don't come home better. And if they do, has nothing to do with prison. And so what societal benefit, other than making us feel good about hurting somebody else who has caused harm, right? Like that's the only feel good we get. Like, we showed them, we sent them to prison because they hurt somebody. That's the only benefit. And if we think about it, that's at the cost of our kids being able to go to school safely, our kids getting a good education, our grandmas and aunties and uncles and parents being able to live in a safe environment. Our people being able to have access to clean water and clean air and all of these things. We have decided as a nation that there is no cost too big to put into this system, and we gonna leave the rest of those things to just everybody got to figure out for themselves. You drinking water with lead in it? I'm sorry, we need to continue to lock these people up to no avail. Like our communities have not been transformed as a result of the money that increases year after year after year going into the system. And we got to ask ourselves, especially as Black people, we got to ask ourselves, like, really, what are we getting from this? What are our communities getting from this expenditure other than divestment? That means they're taking the money out of our communities in order to lock us up. We have $1 million blocks in the city of Chicago. And what do I mean by that? There are blocks where it has cost $1 million per year to incarcerate the people on that one block. $1 million blocks. Now make that make sense.
It don't
think about
make sense.
How much it would pay if we spent that $1 million per block on schools, on good jobs, on parks and recreation and arts and all of those things. Just think of how our communities would look differently if we decided that $1 million was too much to keep investing in this system that's not making that block any better.
I'm gonna interject for 1 second because I see my partner in crime is sitting there stunned. That means he paying attention. You got him hooked.
No, I was seeing how you was glossing. You looked like you was sweating over there, thinking about how bad it'll be up in incarceration. I was like, man, City Petty, this picture's good. You over there like, I don't want to go there. They giving up all this money to people in. I'm like, nah.
I just thought you might have had a question because you was just in deep thought over there, bro.
No, I was amazed at the last dragon glow you had.
Nah, I'm hot, dog. Hey, we having a heat wave here in Chicago, 50 degrees in December. It's hot. Yeah, but now that goes right into a good point that I was going to talk about. I wanted to talk about is the mental health part of it. You know, like you just said, okay, so we talking about an industry that is invested trillions of dollars, but yet and still there's nothing that is invested into the reentry back into society. There's nothing invested into that transition statement at all whatsoever. You got people that are, I mean, let's be real. A dope dealer is on top of the world. he making money. He or she, let's be real. They doing this and they doing that and they making money and they sitting on top of the world. Now they locked up. When they was out, they didn't have to listen to nobody. I made the rules. I did what I did, right? But then now you locked up. Now you got to listen to the COs, and if you don't listen to them, you in the hole. You got extra time added just because this person don't like you, et cetera, et cetera. Now I done spent years dealing with this and listening to this person and that person telling me what to do. Now I am released back into society. And what am I released to? Let's just say I'm living in the area where I don't have family and I'm locked up in the area where my family can't get to me. So now I've just been released, and they don't give us a time frame like, oh, well, such and such finna be released from between the hours of 3 and 6. So be here around there. No. Next thing you know, I'm released at 1 o'clock in the morning to nobody and nothing. Okay. But I'm supposed to not do anything to get myself back in there. Or you turn around and, don't lie on a job application. Be honest. Hey, I'm honest. I got locked up, did my time, paid my debt to society, did what I was supposed to do. And now I'm just trying to get back on my feet. And you won't even give me this job making fries because I was a convict, but I was wrongfully convicted. But I can't bring paperwork in and say, oh, he was wrongfully convicted, so give him a job. I can't bring my lawyer to my interview and say, oh, this is my lawyer because I was wrongfully convicted. But yet and still you got trillions of dollars put into a system that's gonna fuck somebody's head up, basically. But there's nothing. Okay, they say you pay your debt to society while you're locked up, but what about when I get out? What am I supposed to do at that point? I'm standing outside with what I came in here, and half the time, if I came in here with some nice stuff, I don't have it no more. Wait, excuse my language, cuzzo, I'm sorry, but I'm standing here with my dick in my hand. What am I supposed to do?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we have invested, and we got to back up, right? Because if we don't understand the premise behind the prison industrial complex, then we can't understand. It doesn't make any sense why you put out in the middle of the streets with nothing, right? It doesn't make sense. But if you back up and you understand the roots of the system, is that it started like police started as slave patrols. Prisons cropped up out of that in order to then continue when they could no longer have Black and poor people on plantations because of abolition. Then they had to come up with a system to still keep Black and poor people enslaved. So that's why we have the 13th Amendment. Like, slavery has been abolished, except for if you have been convicted of a crime. Then you can still be a slave. And so when you think about the language of the 13th Amendment and the history behind all of those things, you understand that, yeah, I'm not trying to rehabilitate you. I'm not trying, I might say it because I want them dollars. I'm not really trying to correct you, right? The Department of Corrections. I'm really not trying to do that because my roots are in slave patrolling and slavery. So those two things don't go together. I can't enslave you and rehabilitate you because I'm trying to extract that from you, right? So we have to understand. See, we keep thinking that this system can produce something different that it was designed to produce. So that therein lies the problem. But to get to your question, which is what I do every single day, is I am an advocate. I'm an activist and an advocate. And every day I am working on the liberation of our people, full stop. So our three focuses. So I lead the
hold on. before you jump into that, we're gonna pay some bills real quick and we'll be right
Okay.
back with y'all. Gotta get them bills paid, right, bro? What's going on? It's your boy, Mr. On My Grind. Hey, with the holidays coming up, I know you all want to look flyer than fly. So holla at my girl Lana with Exquisite Extensions. She does everything from silk press, relaxes, ponytails, closure and frontal quick weaves, and sew-ins. She also specializes in custom wigs and locks, from starter locks to locks maintenance. So check her out on IG at exquisite_extensions LLC. That's exquisite XQUISITE_extensions EXTENSIONS LLC. Or you can schedule your next appointment with her through Booksy at exquisiteextensions.booksy.com. That's exquisite EXQUISITE extensions EXTENSIONS.booksy.com. Hey, we all gotta look fly because you know she got me right. Peace.
So I lead a statewide coalition called the Illinois Alliance for Reentry and Justice. And
Here,
we
point
are
your finger here. Wait, right here. Point your finger in the middle, up,
okay.
above your head.
Oh, above my
Point,
head.
you point up.
Okay.
B, point right there. All right, it's gonna pop up right here in the edit.
Okay.
What is it called again?
So it's called the Illinois Alliance for Reentry and Justice. And we are statewide. We have members all across the state of Illinois. We are directly impacted people. We are service providers, we are stakeholders, and we are allies. And what we're doing is we have come together to end mass incarceration and to what we call redefine reentry and remake justice. And what do we mean by redefining reentry? Reentry cannot just be what we currently have. I'm gonna let you out of jail. You make it work because now you're no longer in jail. Or I'm gonna let you out of prison with very little. I may give you $250 gate money, maybe that. And you have to have a place to go. Okay, so you got a place to go. You got $250, which is gonna do what? I don't know what $250 gonna do.
What $250 come from?
They may give you, again.
Oh,
I'm not saying you're gonna automatically get $250. That's on the high end. So that's the maximum amount of money.
Oh, this is we talking about when you get out of
gate
prison.
money when you get out, right?
Okay,
Exactly.
because
Gate
when
money.
you get out of 26 California, they give
Don't
you
give
one
you
bus
jack.
pass. They give you a bus pass for one ride.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
So right. So they give you that. You have to have a place to go. So that means you have to have resources to find you a place to go, because the system is not going to help you find a place to go. Then you have to, at that point, try to figure out, how am I going to work if I can work? How am I going to get healthcare if I can get healthcare? And that is kind of a tricky thing, because while the vast majority of people that come out of prisons, especially, but jails as well, are people, low wealth individuals, right? Low wealth or low income individuals. So they may qualify for Medicaid, but then you have some of those people in the middle that don't. So what am I going to do? And then I need healthcare, because, and my healthcare, not just for my physical, for my mental, because I'm messed up in the head now. Prison is not, or jail, incarceration, period. Let me put a T on the end of that. Messes you up in the head. And you cannot leave that experience the same way you went in. It's just not possible. So you really do need to have support systems and access to therapy and things like that, because you gotta work that trauma out. Incarceration is traumatic, and while you're inside, like, they don't help you with anything. You can't talk to anybody. You're not getting any therapy. You may, depending upon how bad you are, get medication, but you got to be really bad, like talking to yourself bad, like on a day-to-day basis, and disconnected from reality to actually get access to medication. So you just left there to fend for yourself. You have to find other ways to try to maintain your emotional and mental health. And when you come home, okay, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So so that's what the Illinois Alliance for Reentry and Justice is doing, is we're pushing it to say, listen, it has to be holistic. And not only, it can't just be, I'm gonna get you a job, I'm gonna get you a place to stay, and I'm gonna get you maybe in Medicaid. It has to be more than that. It has to also be, I'm gonna make sure you have access to food, that I'm gonna make sure that you have access to reliable transportation, that I'm gonna make sure that your family is good, and that your family, if you have small kids, that they got access to tutors or academic support and things like that. Because incarceration does not just impact that person, it impacts that family, especially the immediate family. And so we are doing a disservice to our communities when we say we only gonna deal with her or him that's coming home, and we're not gonna worry about the whole family unit. That just doesn't make any sense, because that incarceration impacted every one of them. And we need to look at all of them if we really want to make our communities better. So that's some of the things that we're focusing on. So we believe in restorative justice, and we're pushing restorative justice practices. We believe in participatory defense, where the family is involved in the defense of an individual that is entangled with the criminal legal system, so that they can actually help to paint a picture of the person, not just the conduct in front of the judge, right? So really humanizing people. We believe in transformative justice. We believe in mutual aid. We believe in guaranteed basic income. There's an organization called Eats Chicago that has a guaranteed basic income pilot program they're doing right now for brothers and sisters coming home from IDOC. So they give them, I want to say 500, but maybe I want to say $500 a month for a year. And they give them that just to kind of help them. So
what's it called again, so I can put it up?
It's called Eats Chicago. It's called a guaranteed basic income. So the organization is called Eats, EATS Chicago. Another organization that I'm affiliated with, which is, this is a mouthful, the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. They also have a guaranteed basic income program for women coming home from prison anywhere in the United States, but it's a pilot program again. And what it says is that Compton, actually, was it Compton? I think it was Compton. They had a guaranteed basic, the mayor put out and started a guaranteed basic income pilot program. And they put like 1,000 people through this program. They gave them like $500 a month for like a year. Those people that went through that program had suffered from less homelessness. They had higher employment rates. And so the program was a massive success. And so what these two organizations are doing is saying that incarcerated people are the marginalized of the marginalized, right? And that's why they need these types of programs. So that's what we're doing on the reentry. We're calling it redefining reentry.
That's good.
And
I want to interject real quick. I'm sorry, because you brought up a good point a couple points ago. You know, what people don't realize is the family, not just the person who's incarcerated, but the family deals with it. You, my cousin, you, my older cousin, you know, the way our family demographic is, me and Choo Choo, to our viewers that's watching, y'all saw my birthday roast episode, and my cousin Choo Choo was on there. Me and Choo Choo, the oldest of the younger cousins. And then Avalon is a part of the older group of cousins, you know? So Avalon is a part of the group of cousins that me and Choo Choo look up to, you know? And then, you know, my cousin's a lawyer and she doing her thing. And I remember when we started going to your house for the family get-togethers, and that's the first time I ever heard of Country Club Hills. I always thought it was a joke, you know? And I was like, oh, it's a real place, you know? And then out of nowhere, you know, my cousin not here. And I'm like, what? You know? And that fucked me up, and it's not your fault at all, by no means. You know, you was just bringing your usual Sojourner Luther X Park self, you know? But again, that goes back to another thing that we talked about in the past episode, the hate, you know? They don't want to see us Black folk doing good. Because the second we doing good and now we done crossed the wrong person, regardless of what the color is, but they not black, but I am. Now I got something I got to deal with. And for what? We all human. We were born the same way, butt booty ass naked. What people don't realize is society teaches racism.
Right.
It's not being born with it. It's not a condition. It's the bullshit that people grow up to see.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? What's
Yeah,
up, B?
I want to jump in and tie this all together. What Avalon said and what you said. The system is built to get all of our community hurt, not just our family, not just you as an individual. It's the community, because just like that one person going out of the community, like I had somebody across the street who used to live across the street from me in Maywood. His name started with a P, but he used to go to jail and used to get in trouble a lot. And then I remember everybody on the block used to use him for like assistance. Like he'll come paint, he'll come fix your sink, he'll come fix your furnace, or he'll clean out your garage. All you had to do is throw him some money. But whenever he was gone, everybody like, where Pat at? Or when he come back, they be like, oh, what P at? Maybe he not gonna be around long. But that type of stuff hurts more than just yourself, like y'all said. It hurts the community because a lot of people depend on you and a lot of people love you, and they want that to happen. They want your community to go down because they want you to lose hope, especially black folks, because they want to upgrade and they want to get us out of certain areas. Like you starting to see certain areas starting to change different colors of skin, like the projects is gone. And now they starting to rebuild that. So
Gentrification.
gentrification, my bro. So the whole system is built to break us down and to get us all out. So I
I
just wanted to
mean,
tie that up with all y'all was
you're
saying because
right.
y'all
You're
had
right.
some good points.
Why
I
we
mean,
take
if you think about it, you right. You're not far from Chicago, from
no,
downtown Chicago. Like,
no.
they just they moved to the suburbs, then they moved back to the city, and now they encroaching back out to the suburbs. So it's a cycle. It's definitely a
And where we
cycle.
going? We keep going further and further in the suburbs to a point where we ain't even gonna be here no more.
And that is definitely true.
Because I know blocks
We
on top of blocks that got old ass houses that generations of black folks when they first was getting their money, and so many just generations came through those households are no longer there no more.
and they it's right. And it's unfortunate because when we
Mhm.
had that the foreclosure crisis in 2006, 7, and 8, and actually parts of 9 and 10, that messed up our communities because of predatory lenders and stuff like that. I mean, it's a nonstop system of oppression.
That's who bought
Um,
grandma's house, a predatory lender.
I mean, it's just a nonstop system. And so
Mhm.
we have to ask ourselves, like, if the system was set up and designed to oppress us, then how are we legitimizing it? Like, or should we legitimize it? And that's why I am about breaking down these systems. And so that's why that's why I do the work that I do. Every
Say it
day I
again,
wake up.
cuz. Say it again,
That's
cuz.
that's why I do the work I do, because I am determined. My liberation and my freedom is tied up in your liberation and your freedom. And the minute we get that, the minute we start to act better and expect better. But when I feel like I can get ahead and you don't have to get ahead, and I don't realize that you not getting ahead really is keeping me from truly getting ahead, until we understand that we are in this together, and that our freedom is wrapped up in each other, we're going to keep getting the same outcomes that we get, because we feel like one or two may make it. But at the end of the day, they still subject to the same oppression that we subject to, no matter how big their paper is. They still, according to the system, a nigger. Period, point blank.
Say it
And until we understand that part and start to say, wait a minute, that means this system is illegitimate. And I need to create the system that works for all of us. And that I can't just get ahead and realize that my brother or sister is not getting ahead. That it just doesn't work that way. Like we all are tied together. All our ancestors, for the most part, well, I know ours have, were brought here. They were brought here. We have a collective history that makes us inextricably intertwined. And we got to recognize that. And we have to work together for our liberation. We cannot act like crabs in a barrel and I'm going to get mine. You figure out how you're going to get yours, because that's only going to keep all of us oppressed.
And that's
Facts.
that's why this show was created. This show was created because I want to give a showcase to everybody. I don't care if you the Candace Parker of this area. Candace, we love you, ma. You got to get on this show. But or if you just the girl that we know that do our hair. You're doing something to help the community, doing something to help us progress and be better. You understand what I'm saying? You're giving us a service. I want to showcase all of that because guess what? Chicago is not Chirac. I was born and raised in not Chirac. I was born and raised in Chi-Town, baby. West side, the best side. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we do. We come together because how was Chicago created? Chicago was created on the backs of all of us, all of our people. How was America created? We were brought over here to create America. You know what I'm saying? And then let's expand on that, because not only the fact was America created on the backs of our ancestors, but then you got foreigners that come here and get them a loan and get them a business and then bring the rest of their family and run that business. Why we as Black folks who created this land not doing it? Why we as indigenous people who had this land before they came over here ain't doing it?
Whenever we get businesses as Black people, we always get some laws or the government comes to shut our businesses down. Remember the Black Wall Street?
Yep. The Black Wall Street.
They did more than shut it down. They burnt it
They
down.
burnt
It was a
it.
massive.
Let's talk about let's go into it though. The Black Wall Street was the most prominent area in American history and was doing better, doing way better. And because we were doing good, like one of those, the episode for my birthday, part 2, a hater's job is to hate. And instead of them just hating and talking shit, they came and burnt it the fuck down because we was doing better than them.
That lets you know how hurt they was.
And they not only did they come and burn it down, they came and burnt it down with the government's consent. Like, so we can't, we have to always keep in mind the fact that the things that have happened to us, the oppression and abuses that have happened to our people and throughout history, not just us indigenous people as well, is that it was done with government's consent. They were like, yeah, all right, you good. Lynchings was led and by police departments.
Yeah.
So we can't, and then we keep thinking that if we keep putting Black bodies in these spaces, that somehow they're gonna be transformed into something else.
Now let's bring that to today too. Let's bring that back to today, because little buddy boy in Wisconsin, okay, he was coming to be a medic. A medic. I'm gonna say that with quotes so everybody know that it's bullshit.
I didn't know medics carried AR-15.
Me neither. Me neither.
All the medics I know, they carry a first aid kit. But
my mama got an ex-boyfriend that was a paramedic. I ain't never seen his goof ass carry no pistol or nothing on the job. Okay. And there's video showing the police, the local Kenosha, Wisconsin police, Oh, we glad you here. Okay, so let's go back to all those 50 million protests where you got the Black Panthers and other Black organizations there, because we want to make sure that everybody is safe. And we want to make sure they don't act a fool, the protesters, but we also here to make sure y'all don't act a fool, the police and the government. But what does the police and the government do? Y'all need to disperse. Y'all need to leave. But we are peacefully protesting. Let's go back to 2020. 2020, we were protesting all throughout 2020. I'd have been to a few of them, you know, but they were treating us like we were storming the Capitol. But then again, you had a group of folks storming the Capitol. And there was a couple of pepper flakes up in there, a couple of them, but it was majority the
Not us.
mountains of the Caucasus.
There was some Sammy Sosas.
Yeah, the Sammy Sosas, right? You know what I'm saying? The alopecias, you know, they was not extra, what's the word I'm looking for? Because you know I'm gonna fuck it up.
Melanin.
Melanin.
There you go. Thank you, Cuzzo. Thank you, B. Thank you, co-host. That's why I got y'all on the show, because I would have fucked that word up. But the extra melanin, you understand what I'm saying? So we didn't storm the Capitol. Why is it taking them so long to charge these folks? But you got people that were peacefully protesting on their knees with their hands up, and they was charged within 2-3 weeks.
No, they was charging 2 to 3 hours because they locked them up quick.
And they hit them with gang enhancements.
Wait, what?
They hit them gang enhancements. So they got, not only did they get charged, they got charged with gang enhancements.
Gang affiliation.
Now,
Let's
how is that
talk
a
about
gang?
affiliation. Come on, what?
They
Stop
tried
it.
to associate it with the mob action. That's crazy.
That's
Well, but did no one? No, let's paint the facts. No one from January 6th,
no.
and I would consider the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers
Oh, that's a
and
gang.
the Truth Defenders. I would consider those gangs. None of them got charged. with
But you
gang
know what though?
enhancement.
You know what's crazy about it though? Why was the biggest gang not there though? Why was the Hells Angels not there though?
Because the Hells Angels weren't going to be a part of that foolishness. They got to do their own
Yeah,
stuff separately.
you
They was
feel
not going to
me?
be a part of that foolishness.
But you get the point I'm making though? Like real talk.
Right.
Come on, man. Stop the bullshit. You know, we're gonna take one more real quick break though, real quick, so we can pay some more bills. The Illinois Alliance for Reentry and Justice aim to become a powerful voice for systematic change and justice for people with records in Illinois. They are also working to bring directly impacted individuals, advocates, and service providers working on reentry in Illinois together to collectively create alternatives to incarceration, reduce recidivism, and end mass incarceration. The Illinois Alliance for Reentry and Justice is supported by the McCormick Foundation along with the Westside Justice Center, and the Alliance is convened by the Safer Foundation. For any additional information, feel free to go to ilarj.org. Welcome back. All right, we done paid a couple bills, so we finally gonna keep this recording going and the lights on, because I know y'all like to see my pretty face. Now that I done wiped it off and I'm not sweating. So, all right, Cuzzo, let's get back into it. So, again, now we're talking about reentry. We're talking about the transition from prison life to society. Now, we are expected, we as people, anyone that's been locked up, are expected to come from a fucked up situation and really fucked our heads up, and we don't have no resources. We don't have nowhere to lay our heads. And what was the reason why we start slanging dope, doing whatever it is to make a couple extra dollars? Because we want to eat. You've already explained how we got different resources that we as a people are trying to get running. Now let's talk about a different aspect, because when you think about a criminal, you think about someone that's been locked up. You think about buddy boy down the block that ain't had no schooling, no nothing. How many folks you done met and seen that have schooling, have degrees, get locked up on some goofy and come out, and how that affect them too?
Well, I can just say that I served time with probably 20, 20, 15 to 20% of the women that were incarcerated with me had advanced degrees, or some form of post high school education. And the really messed up part about it is that, so this system, just to kind of give you a little bit more history, because I believe in facts. Like, I think we always need to operate based on facts. So it started with incarcerating Black men, right? The system was focused on incarcerating Black men and poor people and indigenous people. Then the focus became Black men, poor people, Hispanics or Latine, right? So they added the
Is it
Latine group.
Latine or Latinx?
It Latine is if you want to be consistent with how the language is spoken, it would be Latine, not spelled with an X, but spelled with an E accent because of the female masculine
right.
terms in Spanish. So then they said, okay, well, we just keep needing to feed this system, right? It needs bodies in bunks, and so we keep locking up black men. Now we're gonna start locking up Latin men, and then okay, well, you know what? We still can't. This beast still will not be satisfied. So let's start locking up women. So when they started and shifted to started locking up women and like really took off in like 2005. They really started aggressively going after women, and specifically Black women, to lock them up. So from 2009 until 2014, the women's prison population increased by 700%. So they really targeted Black women specifically during that time period, but Black women even more so. And so they pushed all of these women into this system that was not designed for them. The buildings weren't made for women to reside in. The programs were not gender specific. Nothing was built for women to function in this system, yet they were pushing these women, these female bodies into the system. And so even today, there's nothing really for you, and there's nothing for you when you come home. I had a friend who has an advanced degree. She has a master's degree. She came home. It took her 9 months to find a job. I had another friend with a master's degree. I had another friend that has a master's degree. It took her months to find a job, and she was finding jobs, but her probation officer wouldn't let her take those jobs. So, and then I have a friend now who is just wonderful.
You said her probation officer wouldn't let her take those jobs. Why?
Because they have said that there's only certain jobs that she can work for based on the charges she was convicted of. So they won't allow her to work in certain areas.
The company didn't say we not gonna give you this job because your charges.
Correct.
It was
the company
probation officer who's supposed to help her transition back into the real world, supposed to help give her that push that she supposedly don't have.
Right. I have another friend who was a judge, and her probation officer told her, she was like, are you gonna do you have any resources for me to kind of look into to help me find a job? She said, no, you got a law degree. You should have enough people to that you can contact to get you a job. Like, no help. None.
So what's the purpose of they hold on. I'm sorry. I mean,
you need to understand. No, that's
because
okay.
I'm sitting here like, wait, because probation officers get a nice pretty penny for they punk asses to sit behind that desk and mandate what the hell I'm supposed to do as a convict and help
Taxpayer
me.
money.
And yeah, the pack. I'm a law. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I'm a tax-paying citizen. I'm a tax-paying citizen, so my tax dollars is going to a motherfucker sitting behind a desk like me and B May sitting here behind this desk doing this podcast. Like, hey, real talk, $5 a month, Patreon. This is the type of shit that we gonna help fund. Cause best believe when we start getting our money rolling in, cause you know Mr. On My Grind making them dollars, and you know Mr. B Mace over here, we constantly hustling and constantly grinding. So best believe the next t-shirts that what is it? The IL what's the abbreviation?
I,
It's the
IL
ILARI. Oh no,
RJ.
no, RJ. The ILARJ. The next t-shirts they have when they had their sponsors on it is gonna be me and his ass looking like this. Two
Right, that
drinks with the
part.
fellas. You feel me?
Mm.
Real talk. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's crazy as hell. I'm sorry. I had to interject on that one.
I understand that because a lot of people question what do probation officers do, and I can say that the system has um created an environment whereas the only thing that they have to do is make sure you don't do stuff that they don't want you to do, and that's their 100% full-time job, which is really not what probation is supposed to be about, right? Like that's not the
No.
story that they sell, but that's their everyday existence. And so we as taxpayers have to ask ourselves, like, okay, is that a good use of our money, right? Like, because you
Mm-hmm.
have to make decisions in your household about how am I going to spend this money, and
Right.
is it, and we might make some decisions that probably aren't the best decisions or best use of that money,
Especially
but then
Christmas
we
coming up.
but especially with Christmas coming up, right? But then we don't do that on a consistent basis. We don't have, and so we have to ask ourselves, like, okay,
Yeah.
what exactly are they getting paid to do? And I just think that we need to look at the whole system. Like, what exactly are you doing with our money?
You
Because
know,
no other industry could get away with what they get away with. Yeah, it is crazy. It is really crazy because, like, I've had, like, when I was on home confinement, because when I came home, I had 6 months of home confinement where I was on an ankle monitor. I spent 4.5 years on pretrial with on an I-bond with no issues, none whatsoever. Like, I
right?
was no issues. I have um no substance abuse issues or anything like that in my history or anything like that. When I came home, they put me on the ankle monitor. They called me every 2.5 hours. I had to call them 3 times a day. And then I had to go take UAs. I had to go give UAs every month. I
Mm.
have no use history. Like, wow, that money. Now, for me, what I needed was therapy. But you waking me up every 2.5 hours while I'm sleeping. That's contributing to my anxiety and actually deteriorating my emotional health.
Worse than being
Every,
locked up.
everything that they did was making me worse, not making
Mm-hmm.
me better from an emotional
Nope.
standpoint. They weren't helping me find a job. They weren't
Rehabilitation.
helping me do anything else. All they was doing was they were basically acting as my CO, but in my own house. And so you have to ask yourself, like, okay, if our goal is public safety, right? And public safety is achieved through reducing recidivism and allowing people to return to their communities, and get better, heal from the trauma of incarceration, and all of those type of things. If that's our goal, because we're ultimately trying to improve the conditions in the community, but everything that I do undermines that on an individual basis for the people that are impacted by the system, then I'm working against the stated goal. I can't get to public safety if all the things that I'm doing go against creating the environment by which public safety can exist. And
Right.
we have to keep asking ourselves, why is that?
Mhm.
Like, why is it that everything that the system is designed to do, I'm not saying they're doing it and it's not what they are designed to do. This is what they're designed to do. Everything that they're designed to do, not what they say, what is designed to do, which is what their actions show, undermines public safety. Why are we calling it public safety? Why are we relying on these systems that don't do what it is that they say they're going to do and actually work against it? Like, we need to ask ourselves that question, and we don't want to ask ourselves that question because then we got to start thinking about, okay, but then what do we do next?
Right.
What do we do if we don't have these systems? And that's a very difficult discussion because all we know, even growing up as kids, cops and robbers, we've been indoctrinated. LA, we got Law and Order, we got CSI LA, CSI Louisiana, CSI
Oh,
Maryville,
hold
CSI.
on,
I
because
mean,
NCIS LA, that's my show.
okay, but it's propaganda, right? Like,
Yep, yep,
so
yep, yep.
you think that the system is operating like it is in Hollywood, and it's not.
Right.
So we got to ask ourselves those hard questions, and we got to figure out, like, why we keep expecting the system to give us something that it doesn't want to give us.
I got you, cuz. Hey, you know what? That's exactly all the points I wanted to touch base on. I ain't had to say shit but sit back and enjoy my comfy chair and let my cousin talk. Now y'all see, here's the other side of what the people don't want you to see. Okay? Not every criminal, not every felon is a piece of shit. Because my cousin is the shit. Said again 2 times, B Mace. She is the shit. You dig? So, real quick to all our viewers, we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, don't forget, because it's gonna be over here in the corner. Don't, yep, there you go. Cut. Other side, other side, other side, other side. There you go. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification. Why do
Say
I say
Keenan
no?
to kill.
Why do I always say notification?
You want some orange soda?
It's because the bitch is empty. But don't forget to hit that notification bell to know when our episodes will arrive. Okay? And then don't forget to log into our Patreon, $5 a month. Join our purpose, our cause. Our cause is some shit right here. You understand what I'm saying? I'll take that $5 and flip it and put it on with them. Oh, well, let me rephrase that because I'm not gonna flip shit because I'm not no dope dealer. But no, real talk. You know what I'm saying? What we doing is
You
showing
did do gymnastics, didn't you?
what I did.
You did gymnastics, right?
Oh yeah, I was part of Mr. Ernest Flip Flop and Fly. You already know.
On Lake and Fifth.
Lake and Phil, I could have been Jesse White Tumbler till I hurt my knee. I hurt my knee. But nah, real talk though. Um, you know, and guess what? You could be just like my cousin sitting here talking with us on some shit. $5 a month, Patreon. Hey, jump in our comments and tell us what y'all thought about this episode. Tell us what y'all want us to talk about too. Any and everything. And I'm gonna say one more thing because I know B hate when I say this, but Miss Parker, we gonna get you on the show. We're gonna get you on the show. But anyways, Cuzzo, love and respect, my love you for coming on and blessing our show. Appreciate this.
Thank
We
you,
might have
cuz.
to do a part 2 another time so we keep talking about this because hey, I got the gift of gab and you know my cousin do too. So now
I'm a
that
lawyer and a
yeah.
preacher, a lawyer and a preacher.
Oh my God. And I ain't got neither one of them degrees, and I talk just as much. So, but anyways, hey, Thanks for tuning in. Hey, this your boy, Mr. On My Grind, and my partner in crime, Mr. B Mace. Hey, two drinks and the fellas. It's really got serious tonight. Love y'all. Preach. It's about to get serious.